What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another Wednesday night with the Sanchez Show. I am your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Before we get started tonight, make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast over on YouTube. We're live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Shout out to everybody who's supporting over on Instagram. Got the live going over there. Be patient with me if you got questions coming in on Instagram as I'm switching back and forth between the pages. But got a great show tonight. Got some NFL talk. Got some boxing talk in the comments. I see that. I love to see that. Shout out to Pooh. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Michael Alexander. I see you guys in the comments section. We're going to get to those comments shortly. My brother Will Gordon will be joining me tonight for a segment we love to call The Opinionated Ones. He should be on within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So definitely look out for that. And I want to start off tonight again by saluting the supporters. We got a great response the last 2 weeks. Shout out to my brother Trip Young. If you guys don't know already, make sure you subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. We are live. Shout out to Ty Jefferson. I see you in the comment section. I'm going to get to that in a second because we are talking Shannon Sharpe tonight. But as I was mentioning, we are live every Monday night, Real Fans Real Talk, 7 p.m. The last 2 weeks, the turnout and the feedback we got from our interview with the legendary Tina Hutchinson. Shout out to our sister Tina Hutchinson down in Bama. Great interviews. If you guys have not checked them out already, go over to the Real Fans Real Talk YouTube page. Each episode is about 2 hours. It is well worth it. Her story is amazing. And with that being said, I'm going to start with Pooh's statement right here. It wasn't the first comment of the night, but it's relevant to what I'm talking about right now. Shout out to Pooh. Said, Eric, got 2 shows with Tina Hutchinson was off the chain. Her story of ups and downs is amazing. It absolutely is, Pooh. It's amazing. It's inspiring to think of her journey. Again, don't want to give you guys too much of the interview because I want you guys to go back and check on the Real Fans Real Talk page. But her journey as a young woman coming from Alabama to leave home at such a young age to pursue this dream of basketball, to becoming the #1 rated high school women's player in the country, to her battles with Cheryl Miller in college, to deal with the injuries she had to deal with, to then go overseas and kind of have to figure things out and kind of learn herself as a young woman at that point, because that was her first time in the world on her own. It's an amazing story. You guys, trust me, will not be disappointed. We had plenty of laughs on the episodes. The comment section was on fire both those nights. So I greatly appreciate you guys again for the support. She will be tuning in with us multiple times over the course of the summer and into the winter as well. As like I said, we've had great conversations, not only about her journey, but the women's game and the state of women's basketball, as well as her thoughts on the NBA. She has some great opinions and takes on the NBA game, past and present. So like I said, I think you guys will love the interview. Make sure you go over to Real Fans Real Talk. If you're not already subscribed, hit the alert button, get alerted to when we go live again every Monday night, 7 p.m. But tonight on the Sanchez Show, we got some things to talk about, man. We got NFL season right around the corner. So we got to talk about Micah Parsons and the situation with the Dallas Cowboys. We got Shannon Sharpe. Shout out to his brother Sterling, who went into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. Well-deserved. For those of you that may not be familiar with his game, Sterling Sharpe was probably the third best receiver in his era when he was healthy. And we're talking an era that included Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, to name a few. He probably was that next level behind Jerry Rice. I have him probably slightly below Michael Irvin, though I think he probably was more talented. Michael Irvin was a more physical presence. But Sterling Sharpe, it's tough to give him a comp today because a lot of these guys are very speed, dynamic type receivers. Which Sterling was a little bit of a hybrid. He had the technical skills of a Chris Carter, but he had more speed. Very similar to like a Marvin Harrison type, but I think he was a little bit more physical than Marvin Harrison. So that's why I say it's tough to find a comp. There are certain guys you can see the comparisons of who his game was close to, but nonetheless, very deserving of his Hall of Fame bid. Suffered an unfortunate neck injury right as the Green Bay Packers were getting very good. He was there early on. He gets hurt right when Brett Favre starting to ascend, and then he never gets the opportunity to kind of enjoy those great Packer runs where they go to 2 Super Bowls, they win 1 Super Bowl. Brett Favre wins multiple MVPs, and he, again, the injuries robbed him of that opportunity. So it was very Great to see him get his opportunity. Shout out to Ty Jefferson. He said Shannon Sharpe fired at ESPN. Talk about the situation. Thoughts on Sterling getting into the Hall of Fame, being first brothers. As I mentioned, Sterling well deserved. Sterling was better than Shannon, if we're going to be honest. Shannon was good in his own right as a kind of a hybrid tight end, but Sterling was the better football player, the better receiver, and Shannon will say that himself. In terms of Shannon and ESPN, I'm going to save that part of the tie. We got Will Gordon joining us shortly. Shout out to Cameron. He said, where's your co-host? He's going to be joining shortly. Will Gordon will be joining shortly. He texted me a little while ago, so he's getting some things together, and then he'll be joining the live. Like I said, he should be on by about 7:40, 7:45. So within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll be having Will Gordon on. But since we got Cam here, let's get to your question. Bears ranked as 15th best roster. Expectations for Caleb Williams in year 2. So the first thing with Caleb Williams is got to eliminate the sacks. He took a beating last year. They made a heavy investment in their O-line. They have to protect them for him to be better. The initial reaction would be he's going to be better this season because of Ben Johnson, who's the former offensive coordinator in Detroit. Now coming over to Chicago, you think the offense is going to be better. I don't know if it's going to be immediate, though, because Caleb Williams still has some bad habits that he needs to correct. The most obvious one is that he holds on to the ball too long. He loves to freestyle and freelance while he's in the pocket. He loves to hold on to the ball, hoping to make a bigger play down the field. And when he does it, it looks great. But most times in the NFL, the speed and the reaction time of guys on defense, you've got to make that initial throw. If that first or second read isn't there, you've got to be able to get over to that third read or figure something out very quickly. He holds the ball too long. He's got to be better in that aspect. I think as a team overall, they'll be a little better. But that division as a whole is very good. I think Detroit's a playoff team. I think Minnesota and Green Bay are both playoff caliber teams. I don't know if all 3 get in again like they did last year. Maybe only 2 get in this time. But Chicago's going to have to jump at least 2 of those teams to become a playoff team. I think Detroit is clearly the best team in that division. They're going to win that division. They're going to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. For the Bears to make a playoff push and be better, they're going to have to not only jump those 2 teams, as I mentioned, they're going to have to hope that another team falls out of playoff contention from last year. And I think probably the most obvious team that might fall out of playoff contention is probably going to be the Minnesota Vikings. But again, that still doesn't mean that 3 teams from the South get in. I think the Buccaneers in the North would get in. I think the Buccaneers in the South are getting in. I think the Rams out West are my favorites to win that division. I think they get in. I think Philly gets in the East. And then it gets a little tricky. We're going to talk about the Commanders a little later on. Dallas got a lot going on with Micah Parsons. We're going to talk about that. Can they be better? Out West, can the 49ers rebound from the injuries they had last year? Does Seattle think they're better now with Sam Darnold, even though they lost 2 of their most productive receivers over the last couple seasons? Can they be better? I know somebody asked about Kyler Murray a couple weeks ago. Can he take the next step and get the Cardinals back into playoff contention? So the Bears, I expect them to be better with a better head coach. That does not mean I expect them to make the playoffs. I still don't think they're a playoff team. Caleb Williams will be better. He'll take less sacks. He won't take as much punishment pause as he did last year. But overall, I don't think they're good enough to make the jump into playoff contention. Not yet. Love the questions, guys. Ron said, Broncos ranked as 6th best roster. Clearly Sean Payton is an elite head coach, I'm assuming. Yes, Sean Payton has done a great job with that team and kind of building it up very quickly. Think about where they were at 2 seasons ago. Russell Wilson, he didn't never really want the Russell Wilson as quarterback. They moved on. They get Bo Nix. They make the playoffs last year. They were a feisty team. We're going to get to that too, Ron. But in terms of the Broncos, I think they're a very, very good team. I think they're going to be a playoff team, and I think they're going to threaten to win that AFC West. I hate to go against Mahomes and the Chiefs. They've had the most success that we've seen since the Patriot dynasty. Obviously, you could pencil them in every year for 11 to 12 wins and one of the top 3 seeds in the AFC, and they're going to compete again for a Super Bowl. I think they're going to be right there again. But the Broncos are that good. I think the Broncos, if we rank the rosters and where I think they are, they're probably in that range of 3rd or 4th best team. I think Kansas City's the best team in the AFC. I think Baltimore, in terms of roster, is probably the 2nd best team. And then Buffalo and Denver, I think, are neck and neck right there. Now, Buffalo has the obvious advantage. They got the MVP of the league, and they got arguably the best quarterback in the league. Some people feel Josh Allen's the best guy. But the rest of the roster, I love for the Broncos. They got to get better in the run game. They weren't as good last year. They're hoping the rookie they bring in will help them in that area. but the O-line is good. That defense is very, very good. And you would expect that Bo Nix in his second year will be much more consistent than he was that first year. So I like the Broncos a lot. I think they're a playoff team. I think they can contend for the AFC West, Ron. And they might even put a scare in Kansas City for the division. I like them a lot. Again, guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. My brother Will Gordon will be joining shortly. Ron said, I know Will, not only when he does go back and get his thoughts on some football stuff. Absolutely. Ron, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back. We're going to go through some of the questions again. Let's see what else we had here. I know we had a boxing one. I'm going to get into the 2 boxing ones before Will joins, because I know Will doesn't really get into the boxing too much. Shout out to Michael Alexander. Appreciate the support. Said Gervonta Davis is reportedly retired from boxing after being fed up with the sport. Is this cap? I believe it to be cap. Gervonta Davis has floated this idea out around before. And the reason I say it's cap, Gervonta Davis knows there's a lot of money left on the table. We're not talking about a fighter who's in his late 30s, who's exceeded his earning potential. We're talking about a guy right now who is still the pay-per-view star of the sport. We're talking about a guy right now who's at least top 3, top 4 most recognizable fighters in the sport. So I don't think him stepping away has anything to do with him being fed up with the sport the way he makes it seem. He's 30 years old. I think what he's really fed up with is that he hasn't been able to make the fights that he wants to make with certain guys. Now, that might just be his issues with business. Maybe they just can't get him worked out. There's a lot of fights out there for Gervonta Davis, though. There's a lot of big money fights out there. And I don't know if Devin Haney wants any parts of them. I know the Ryan Garcia rematch is something that people want to see. That'll still be out there. I know Shakur is the most mentioned fight that everybody wants to see. Personally, I would love to see Tank and Teofimo Lopez get it on, because I think that'd be a great matchup stylistically. So there's, you got Pitbull Cruz, who he could always give a rematch to. They had a great first fight. There's a lot of guys that Gervonta could fight. Him being fed up with the sport, though, to me, just sounds like he's looking for a particular matchup and a particular payday. And because he's not getting it, he's fed up with the sport. Again, we're talking about a guy who's 30 years old, bro. You're 30 years old. You got a lot of prime years in front of you. You got a lot of big money fights that are still left in front of you. If you're walking away from the sport now, I have a feeling he'll regret it. And history has proven that with boxers. Boxers who have walked away from the sport too early have always circled back, came back, fought bigger names later on, and got the paydays I guess they were looking for. Floyd did it. Floyd walked away after the De La Hoya fight. Took a year and a half off. Then realized not only was he still young enough to compete at the highest level, he still realized there was a lot of money left on the table. After the De La Hoya fight, which is one of Floyd Mayweather's most profitable fights and one of the biggest successes in boxing history, you look at the pay-per-view numbers after that, Floyd just put up massive numbers after the De La Hoya fight. Imagine if he had never come back. If he never comes back, we never get the Pacquiao fight. We never get the Maidana fights. We never get, obviously, the McGregor fight, which broke all types of records. So Floyd walked away and then realized there was way too much money. There was way too much left to give to the sport and too much to take from the sport. I think Gervonta Davis is going to realize the same thing. He might be feeling like he's going to walk away right now, but I have a feeling he's going to circle back, especially if he's able to get a fight against, again, a Shakur or Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez or a Boots Ennis. I think him and Boots is a possibility, but it's got to be at the right weight. So I don't think Gervonta's done. There was another boxing question here. Let me find it real quick. Where we at? Where's it at? I did see it a minute ago. Oh, right here by Ron. Talk about Clarissa Shields' fight. USA Today says Shields versus Ali needs to stay in the kitchen. I don't think the fight should happen. I've said multiple times, there is nothing to gain from this fight for Clarissa Shields. First off, Layla Ali, though a great name and obviously a great all-time women's fighter, Layla Ali does not have a following amongst the current core women's boxing fans. Layla Ali hasn't fought in over a decade. So the young ladies who are into boxing right now are not familiar with her work. They're just familiar with the name. So Clarissa Shields would be fighting somebody purely for a name. She wins the fight. If she knocks out Layla Ali, again, you're knocking out a woman who's almost 15 years older than you, who hasn't fought in 10 years. If the fight is close, people question your own skill. If you lose the fight, you can no longer call yourself the GOAT. If you lose again to somebody who's been out of the ring for over 10 years and is 15 years older than you. So what's the upside for Clarissa Shields other than the money? And I think Clarissa Shields can make the money without Layla Ali. I think Clarissa Shields is missing an opportunity, and I don't want to speak to her business or her business acumen or the people that are in her camp because I don't know what those conversations are like day to day. But Clarissa Shields right now, when you look at the state of women's sports and you look at the coverage that women's sports is getting, right now, she is the premier boxer, the premier face of women combat sports. She's basically in the same position that Ronda Rousey was in years ago when Ronda Rousey was the face of women's combat sports. That's what Clarissa Shields is right now. The marketing opportunities, the movie opportunities, the endorsement deals, all those things are right there for Clarissa Shields. I don't think she should be focusing on trying to fight Layla Ali when there's far more money she can make in other areas as the face of women's combat sports. This is a woman who took a couple years to learn the MMA game and actually fought a couple MMA fights. So she doesn't need Layla Ali. She's the face of women's combat sports. Market that. Take advantage of that. But there's no reason, again, to be sitting around waiting on a Layla Ali fight and then saying, hey, I got the 15 million you were looking for. I think it's a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time for Clarissa Shields. There is no wins in it other than a short-term bag. Yes, if they split the 15 million, it's a great come up. If they get 15 million each, that's an even better come up. But outside of that, what are the wins? I would really ask somebody, what are the long-term wins for Clarissa Shields? Because it's only downside. You win the fight, you're winning a fight that you're going to be a heavy favorite in anyway. Nobody's picking Layla Ali to beat you. Nobody is expecting Layla Ali, who hasn't been in the ring in over a decade, to come in and beat you. So I say focus on other business endeavors, and I think other opportunities that are right there in front of Clarissa Shields. If she just lets that situation go and say, look, I'm the face of this whole thing. There's no woman combat sports athlete who's bigger than me right now. And I would use that as kind of the launch pad to do other business things and not get caught up in the whole Layla Ali fiasco and then what they're trying to do there. But again, guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. I'm going to give Will Gordon a couple more minutes before I get into some of these other questions. Again, I didn't want to circle back once Will Gordon got on, so I'm trying to give him a moment here. But I appreciate the support. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast. We are live every Wednesday night. We're going to start ramping things up once we get into the football season. For those of you that have followed and subscribed to the podcast or paid attention in the past, as you know, we do the gambling picks once a week. We give you some of our fantasy stuff. The content start to pick up. Right now, we're in the dog days of summer, so we're just going live once a week. But make sure you subscribe to the Sanchez Show. Make sure you subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. We'll be back next Wednesday. We might have a special guest next Wednesday, but I don't want to put that out there just yet until we confirm who that guest might be. But be on the lookout. Great support the last couple of weeks. And if you missed it, part 2 of the Tina Hutchinson episode interview is up on YouTube right now. It's a great interview. We're going to be dropping some clips from that as well very shortly. Let's see what other questions we got here. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, let's go with the first comment of the day. Ron. Gilbert Arenas was arrested last week and was released. He goes online joking about snitching. Does Gil do prison time? I don't think he will do prison time. My understanding of the charges, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but from what I've read, he hosted a poker game at an Airbnb and basically created a buy-in. So anybody who was invited to the poker game had to pay a fee. So basically, Gilbert turned himself into a casino, pretty much. The difference is Gil, if no one had found out about this and however it was brought to light, that's tax-free money. And we know how the U.S. government feels about tax-free money. So this was a high-stakes poker game. So I'm assuming the buy-in probably was somewhere in the range of 10, 20, maybe even 30,000 just to get a seat at the table for this high-stakes poker game. So you're talking about, if you had 5 to 10 guests paying anywhere in the range of 10 to 20,000, 10, 20, maybe even $30,000. Gil came home with a nice bag for hosting the event, along with probably partaking in the poker tournament as well and keeping whatever he won. So the U.S. government is not going to like that. Now, as more details come out, We'll find out again who told, how long this has been going on, because it's very possible this wasn't the first time he's done it. And maybe that's another reason why there was this harsh response of him getting arrested and brought down. I'm sure if it was the first time, it might have just been a warning, hey, don't do that again. But if they find out that this is something that you're doing once a month and you're pocketing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 every once a month on the side, that's tax-free income you're not reporting, somebody's going to blow the whistle. Somebody's going to be upset about that. So I think that's what more was coming in on this. We'll see if they try to get him on tax evasion. But again, that'll be more so if this is an ongoing thing or if this was just a one-time, a one and done. Will Gordon's going to be joining us in the next couple of seconds. Will, give me the thumbs up once you're ready, bro. But yeah, Ron, I think that's where we stand with that. All right. As always, Wednesday night, the opinionated ones. I got my brother with me.
What it do, baby? What it do, baby?
You have headphones connected?
Nah, I ain't got no phones.
No headphones connected? It sounds like you're distant.
You got me?
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on, let me adjust my flex real quick.
Let me see something.
All right, let me see.
Log out, and log back in.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, I just adjusted something on the mic there. So we're going to log him out, get him back in here in like 30 seconds. Guys, I'm going to leave that Gilbert Arenas question up there as well, Ron. That way when Will comes in, he can chime in and give me his thoughts on that. As always, guys, make sure you lock in with us. Wednesday nights, we're live. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you're leaving comments on Instagram, bear with me. I'm switching back and forth between the pages to make sure I get the comments on that side so I'm not forgetting about anybody. But yeah. Hope everybody's enjoying their night. Also, if you guys don't already, you see our social medias are normally up there. I need all the supporters. Make sure you flood Trip Young's inbox. You got a birthday coming up on Saturday. So make sure you guys show my brother some love. Y'all already know that's my man, 100 grand. It's crazy, you know, how time flies. Trip Young and I did not grow up together, but that has become my brother over the years, man. So early happy birthday to Trip Young. But make sure you guys flood his inbox. Let me see something here. Ron. Regarding the Tina Hutchinson interview. He said, Eric, on Tina Hutchinson, I understand when she broke Juju's record. She should have been, when Juju broke her record, you said. You said, my dad, Tina had a great freshman year, but she seems to want to be mentioned with Cheryl and Coop. So my understanding and my feeling that I get from it is that Tina has watched other people get their flowers for their accomplishments, and she was not given that same respect and acknowledgement. And I also think one of the things that I asked, if you go back into part one, I talked to her about her relationship with Coach Riggins. I talked to her about what happened with her with Team USA. And I get the feeling that there's still a part of Tina that feels like she was overlooked for what she was bringing to the game, right? Remember, she went to San Diego State because that's what her coach wanted. She had bigger offers out there and there opportunities for bigger recognition, right? And we talk about schools. I got you, Ron. You said you put it in two parts. That's fine. But, you know, she had the opportunity to go to bigger schools, but she followed the advice of her coach. And in that advice, that might have harmed her from playing for Team USA. In that advice, it took away from her notoriety and her recognition. And I think for her to have a record for 40 years and then still not get acknowledged, a piece of anybody's going to feel slighted. Like, you know, I gave the game everything I had. I got injured behind this. I tried to, you know, do the best I could in the situations I was in, and yet everyone else gets their acknowledgement and their praise, and yet a record that I held for 40 years kind of gets treated like it was no big deal. So that's my understanding of it. I'm gonna bring Will in as I bring this other question in. Regards to Tina Hutchinson, she didn't play or have a long enough career. No, she didn't have a long enough career. But I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that she still held the record for 40 years that she hasn't gotten a proper acknowledgement for. Will, let me hear.
What they do, baby?
I don't hear you at all, bro.
What?
You on mute? You're not on mute? Hold on. You on mute, bro.
I just clicked it. You hear me?
Yeah, it says you muted yourself.
I just clicked it one time. It ain't working.
Yeah, it's showing you as look on the bottom. All right. Put your volume all the way up.
We up.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You don't have no Bluetooth headphones or nothing connected, right? Hold on. Let's see. We gotta get this right here. Hold on, Will. I'm gonna do something real. I'm gonna try something here. We're just trying to get this situated. So speak again. Let me hear. Yo.
What they do, baby?
Nah, bro. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Especially since you can hear me. Like I said, we got the connection in, but for some reason the audio.
Yeah.
You said you're not on mute. You're not on any type of Bluetooth, right? No, I'm saying it's not connected. Your Bluetooth is not on at all, though. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. Cam said he hears us both. I can't hear Will, though. I don't know why.
You still can't hear me, though?
I'm going to have you try to log off one more time, Will.
All right.
Let's try one more time. We're trying to get that right, guys. I don't know why. You guys saying you can hear us, but I'm not hearing Will at all. Let's see. Let's try to get that right. Shout out to my man Ren over on IG. I see you, man.
Ew.
Why can't I hear you?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Mackenzie says I can hear y'all. I don't know why I can't hear Will Gordon at all, guys. I'm trying to get this audio situated here. Let's see. Let's try something else real quick. Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you playing right now?
Bear with me, guys. Let me try to get this situation.
I got you.
Ew. And I see notifications that you muted my mic, unmuted my mic.
You sound low. I can hear you a little bit now, but you sound low.
I sound low. Do I sound low now?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like my mic is exposed, pause, and my volume is up.
Yeah, I'm adjusting your mic on this end as well. Pause. I got the volume all the way up. I do not know why it's giving us issues with your sound here. Yes. Hold on, let me try something. I'm gonna go without the headphones. Yo, you hear me?
I've been hearing you the whole time.
I hear you better now. I don't know why. It was sounding low on the headphones. Yeah, I don't know why. It was sounding low on the headphones, but it's cool.
Man, see, you got them beats by Andre.
Yeah.
Instead of beats by Dre, you got the beats by.
I had the
by Dravion.
No, I had the beats by Antoine on. Them joints wasn't working. They wasn't really working. But
now that we in, what they do, baby?
Let's go. Let's get to it.
How it's going, man? Let's get into it.
Let's go. Let's get to some things. All right. So, we were talking about Gil. I'm gonna put that question back up because I was giving my thoughts on Gil. Shout out to Ron. It was the first comment of the night.
Ron always gonna rep, man.
Ron.
We need to make merch, and then because We need to make merch and Ron get the free tees because Ron be repping.
That's a fact.
Ron be repping, man. Shout out to Ron.
He said Gil was arrested last week and was released. He goes online joking about snitching. Does Gil do prison time?
Nope. I don't think so. Like he still got too much bread to fall under the circumstances of facing time off of gambling. I think he got enough lawyers and still got enough bread to get up out of it. It's just enough. This is the most Gilbert Arenas story possible. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody was shocked by it. Nobody's surprised. Like, oh, Gil got caught up in some bullshit. Well, of course he did, because that's my guy. But that's what he on. He always been on that. He always gonna be on that bullshit, and he always gonna do some stupid stuff. And he's always gonna make us laugh about it afterwards too. That's what's hilarious to me. It's like, hey, he gonna get in trouble? Probably. Slapped on the wrist? Probably. But does anybody really care? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny. It's funny. It's a funny story to me.
Like I was saying, I got you, cool. I see a statement there. This to me just seems like, the government came down because they probably realized he was pocketing a lot of money on this underground poker games. You're talking high stakes poker. You're talking a lot of guys with a lot of money, which means there probably was a buy-in. And so, Will, if you're hosting poker games at your house, let's say once a month, and everybody's paying you $10,000 to $20,000 to participate, you're clearing $50,000, $100,000 on one night to host some underground poker games. Somebody gonna be upset. That's tax-free money right there.
Yeah. So, especially when you're dealing with dudes with last names that most people can't pronounce.
Right.
When you get into that aspect of it all, then that's when the little radars start to go up. That's when what I'm saying, when you taking notice.
I'm waiting to hear more as to how this is brought to somebody's attention. But you know how most times this happens. Somebody probably lost some more bread than they wanted to lose, or altercation took place, and then it probably came to light, yo, Gilbert over there throwing high stakes poker games at Airbnbs in California, and he pocketing a lot of bread over there. We don't like that. So I think that's really what it comes back down to. He won't serve any jail time. At the very least, they'll try to get him on some taxes and say he falsified documents because he didn't claim everything that he earned at the game.
That's the thing. It wouldn't have came out unless people was making markers that they weren't mean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm guessing happened. And then, I mean, if he's facing Fed time, quote unquote, they've been looking at it. They need a face to put on the case. Like, that's what a lot of people don't understand. When stuff like this happens, Gil could really be ignorant to the situation. He could really have the most minimalist addition to the situation. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to stuff like this, the news, the prosecutors, they need to put a face to the case. Mm-hmm. So are we gonna put these dudes that nobody's ever heard of with names that you can't pronounce? Right. Or are you gonna put Gilbert Arenas' face on it, who has already been in trouble multiple times? Well, been in trouble more infamously than probably anything in NBA history. Plus, is a controversial figure, so it's kind of easy to put it on him. Pause. But at the same time, I think this case is way, way, way bigger than him. When you read the details and everything, it seems like he was just like a party promoter. Yeah,
this only got mainstream coverage because of who Gilbert Arenas is. Obviously, he has a platform now with Gil's Arena. He was just a big part of Fanatics Fest up in New York. So he's got a following and he's a recognizable name. But make no mistake, a lot of former athletes, current athletes, movie stars, a lot of celebrities host underground poker games. This is
new. They made a movie about it. The joint about what was the one I'm talking about? It was about the high stake poker games with Ben Affleck, Leonardo DiCaprio. Idris Elba was in the movie. I can't remember.
It
It was it
it's
was
a
a
lot.
girl in it. It was like Sally's Game or something like that.
I'm not familiar with the movie.
It was a movie. It was a female that she was really the financier of all the underground poker games. It was like the high rollers. It was all the Leos, like all like those guys. And dang, I think it was called Sally. I think it was called Sally's Game. Viewers, I mean listeners, y'all be on point. Y'all know what it is. It was somebody's game. The name of the movie, but it was a true story about the high stakes poker games in Hollywood, and then she was getting threats on her life because of such. It's a good movie. It's a good watch.
I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, like I said, this is nothing new. We've known about these things for a long time. People with money, this was
Yeah.
so it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't expect any jail time.
Molly's
Shout out
Game.
to Pool.
Molly's Game.
There we go.
Thank you. It's called Molly's Game. You need to check Molly's Game.
Shout out to Pool. Pool had the question.
Hey, Pooh.
We couldn't. I couldn't even put this question up until you joined the show. Will, the rumors is that the opinionated ones was running around in town. That's the
Hey, it's more than rumors. It's more than rumors, though. Pooh, did you heard? You heard?
in person. I love y'all.
It was a. Hold on. What's Pooh's comment? I can't see it. Can you read it to me?
She said, "Talk about y'all first meetup in person. I love y'all chemistry."
Yeah, and you know what, Pooh? Shout out to you. You know we got love for you endlessly on the show. What's crazy, and to everybody that's been rocking with us for what we going on 5 years?
Yeah,
man. We going on 6 now. We about to be at 6 with the new year. What's crazy is, man, y'all rock with us and y'all support us and y'all get the vibe. And until like we've been rocking since the pandemic, since the mask. Remember we was rocking the masks, y'all? We've been rocking since the masks, and we never linked up until the other day, which is crazy. When you talk about our chemistry, that's what real chemistry is. That's what real chemistry is. We never had to meet on the physical pause. We like vibes. It's all about vibes. It's about mentality, and it's about where you at. You know what I'm saying? Me and this young brother been vibing from day one, and it's always been a brotherhood. I always got his back. Anytime he need me to show up for him, I'm he knows unless I got an obligation with my kids, I'm there for him. And he always gave me the opportunity to speak my voice when nobody else was trying to. And the fact that finally we got to break bread, share a couple of libations this past weekend, and the vibe it was the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just meeting up with my brother that I ain't seen in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But it was a vibe. My cousin was with us. Shout out to my cousin Kiwan. Y'all be hearing on the stories. It was just an overall vibe, and it was a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege to finally link up with my bro E, man.
Yes, sir. I feel the same way, man. It was long overdue. It's crazy, man. Like I said, our story is unique in that way because people don't believe that. They think we had a history before the show.
Yeah, because that's the chemistry they talk about. You know what I'm saying? You think we went to middle school together or something?
Right. You would think, like,
you know what I'm saying?
We knew each other for years, but like I said, Will Gordon is genuinely my brother, man. And I didn't know, like I said, when I reached out to him 5 years ago, like, yo, man, let's do an episode. Let's just see, if we could create something. If you would have told me then, man, y'all gonna go on and continue this partnership and continue this friendship, and it grows into a brotherhood, I'd be like, I would have been like, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we were two grown men who just was like, we're gonna talk sports. We didn't know each other. So, the way we've been able to connect in that way, and then like now to see each other and then hang out. I look forward to many more hangouts, many more
absolutely
opportunities, man. And like I said, I genuinely consider you my brother as well, because we've had a great time on air and then speaking in person and enjoying each
other. For sure, bro. Love you, bro.
Yes, sir. Love you too, my
G. And that's as grown men and the listeners and everybody else. That needs to be something we need to regulate. That, man. There needs to be more a thing in society. Like I said, it was me, Eric, and my cousin the other day. The night before, it was me, and my cousin and my dude I hadn't seen for years. We went to I was in town to see little brother. I don't know how many listeners are familiar with them. It's their farewell tour. Luckily, I'm going with my folks, but I'm linking up with dudes that I haven't seen since I graduated high school in 1997. We all linked up, and I've lost too many folks over time. Like since growing up, that after they gone, it's like, man, I should have hung out with him. I should have linked up with him. I should have did this with him. Where you don't get that opportunity until it's too late. And it with me and Eric, like we've been rocking, like he said, since 2020, and I'm just appreciative and thankful that finally we got to link up. And I hope that just leads to more collabs. And we need to do a live recording. That'd be crazy for the fans. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll figure something out.
We talk, and we're going to go into all the conversations we had, but we talked a little bit about, like I said, I want to come out to your area. We catch a game. We do a live recording, you know what I'm saying? And allow people to see the chemistry in that aspect, because it's crazy, like I said, that you and I had never met. Bro, for the people, like I said, that support us, that was the first time we even got to dap each other up. We've never seen each other before.
Yeah, never, ever in life till what was that, Sunday?
Yeah, till Sunday.
Till Sunday night. So, yeah, that's crazy.
To be able to build that chemistry purely off of recording once a week and in conversations, whether it's text message or we call, especially during football season, we talk a lot during the games and all that.
Heavy.
It's amazing, bro. It's amazing that we've been able to build that type of friendship, that brotherhood, and that chemistry that, like Pooh mentioned, and other people have mentioned as well. There was people who was like, "Yo, I ain't know." I think it was Hoop Ball or School who even put it.
Hoop. When we posted I posted the picture when we linked up.
Yeah.
Like he's like amazing. I didn't know y'all never met. I was like, yeah, that's the chemistry. That's the vibe. That shows you how we on that same vibe, that same level that nobody knew, nobody could fathom that we never even shook hands before. So we never been in the same space. And then until this past Sunday, and it was a vibe, and it was long overdue. And it's like, I'm gonna keep rocking with whatever you put out. Long down the line, I might start doing some things independently too, and you gonna be part of that family as well. You know what I'm saying? But for the listeners, everybody from Pooh, Ron, Scoop, and I hate to even name individuals because everybody that rocks with us, man, is so appreciative. I don't like Eric bringing me on. This was something he needs to do that, but it was so necessary for me. And at the time, like certain things happen in your life at a certain time when they're supposed to. And this thing's been rolling, and it's been very necessary for me, for my health, for my mental health, and everything else. And I appreciate it, bro.
No doubt. I love to hear it, man.
Absolutely.
Let's get into some stuff, man. This one right here from Todd Jefferson.
What up, Todd?
ESPN, talk about that situation. Thoughts on Sterling. I'm gonna say this before I'm gonna let you go, Will, but I'm gonna say this. I gave my thoughts on Sterling, Sharpe, super underrated. Injuries robbed him of what was gonna already be a great career. In that era, people love to talk about Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin. Sterling Sharpe might have been the second best receiver during that era before the injuries. And
he was a dog.
And unfortunately, because he got injured just as the Packers were getting good, just as Brett Favre was becoming an MVP caliber quarterback, he suffers the neck injury that ends his career. But I'm gonna let you go from there. Sterling Sharpe going into the hole, and obviously the controversy around Shannon.
I like that he got in. I do, because I'm a little bit older than you. I remember Sterling Sharpe when he was out here balling with Don Majkowski as his quarterback. For anybody, any of the younger viewers, go look up Don Majkowski. They called him the Magic Man because of the way they spelled his name. A lot of that was attributed to the plays that Sterling Sharpe was making on the opposite end of his erratic passes. If you want to go back and look, this dude was putting paws in crazy places, and Sterling was going up and getting them. Ooh, super pause. That whole breakdown, pause it. But Sterling was a monster. Now, did injuries derail his career and cut it short? Absolutely. which makes me think, would Sterling be getting this late nod into the Hall of Fame now if his brother wasn't popping like he is now? Which you do get guys to get in way, years and years and years later. But his body of work, as far as the years, it's kind of, it's like, did you do it long enough, pause, for you to warrant a Hall of Fame career? He had Hall of Fame talent, and if he never got injured, I think he's a no-brainer Hall of Famer. I just question now, after he retired, 30 years ago. Now you put him in. It's like you. I hate when you put in guys way too late, because what, they haven't accumulated any more stats. So why are they Hall of Famers today if they weren't 20 years ago? You know what I mean? I hate that aspect of it all. But if he never had the injuries, as far as talent in the mid '90s, it wasn't really nobody messing with Sterling Sharpe. Like, he was up there with the. I mean, he wasn't Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? But he was an upper echelon receiver for sure.
Yeah, Pooh, you said it best. You said super pause. There was a bunch of pauses in there.
Hey, Pooh, come on, Pooh, cut me some slack. I led with the pause because I didn't realize until it was coming out of my mouth. Another pause, another one.
No,
Yo,
but
hey, Mace's head would explode.
yeah,
Mason's head would be exploding, right? Cam be brushing his head, be like, hey, yo, son.
Sterling, I think, without the injuries, would have gotten in. Obviously, as you mentioned, previous years it was tough to get him the votes in, and a lot of it has to do with who else was on the ballot that year. That affects. Yeah. So I think that's why it took so long. Now it came to a point where it's like, all right, the ballot isn't the strongest. This is a guy who, just his body of work while he played, he was on a trajectory to be a Hall of Famer. So, but good
to be a beat, yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. But am I mad that he's in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not. No, like, I don't want it to come across as that. It's just, I'm not saying why is he now in. I'm saying, why wasn't he in before?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it more leads to. Like I got a perfect example that I used to campaign against back in my Washington days. Art Monk.
Mm-hmm.
When Art Monk retired from football, nobody in football history had more receptions than him. Yet it took him 9 years to get in the Hall of Fame. He had 3 Super Bowls and retired as a wide receiver with the most receptions. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you supposed to do? You got the most receptions and 3 Super Bowls, and it took you 9 years to get in the Hall of Fame? Like, the politics behind the Hall are ridiculous. It's like, that's supposed to be a first ballot. That's supposed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Art Monk, Chris Carter experienced the same thing. Chris Carter was supposed to be first ballot. So I agree.
T.O.
T.O. was supposed to be first ballot. They're a couple.
Come on, man. It's too many politics involved in that stuff, and I mean, it's unfortunate. But as fans of the game, you know what you see, you know what you watch. Yeah. It just sucks that the accolades and the things that actually can advance these people's lives in the future are diminished by ignorance. It's like, come on, you can't tell me. You know what I mean? Like, what are you arguing against for these guys? But it is what it is, man. No, we can't change it.
I agree. Let's talk about everybody's favorite drama series, the Dallas Cowboys. We got comments up here about the Cowboys. We were going to get to the Cowboys regardless. Micah Parsons has officially requested a trade. Jerry Jones has already come out and said he expects Micah to be playing week 1 with the Dallas Cowboys. Give me your thoughts, Will. What are the Dallas Cowboys doing now aside from just drawing unnecessary attention to themselves?
Now, is Micah entering the last year, or is he in the second to last year?
Second to last. This is year 4 of that 5-year deal.
Yeah, he's done.
Or actually,
Look,
hold on. This is year 5 of his rookie deal. Sorry.
so is it a team option, a player option? Like, what's the contract?
This year's already been picked up as the team option. They opted into it before last season.
But next year he's unrestricted.
He's trying to work on the contract extension beyond this season.
So beyond this season, next year, 26, 27, he'll be unrestricted.
No, they can still franchise tag him though.
Oh, I mean, but essentially they could let him walk.
Yeah, essentially. If let's say if it's a terrible season and we don't even want to wish injuries on nobody, but let's say that the Dallas Cowboys could walk away from him if they wanted to.
I think they're gonna get it done, to be honest, because there's no incentive in trading him if you're Jerry Jones. There's no incentive in trading him.
None.
You're not trying to. If you're Jerry Jones, you're not trying to trade him for draft capital to where you got to wait 2 to 3 to 4 more years for that draft capital to actually, show its worth. Jerry Jones is what, 89 million years old. Mm-hmm. He's not building for the future. He's trying to win today, tomorrow, or next week. He ain't building for years to come. So why trade your most valuable asset while he's still under contract when you can get the deal done, just not under his time?
Right. It
makes no sense for Jerry Jones to trade his most valuable asset for draft picks when he's trying to win now. Jerry Jones could, I don't even want to put out there, but Jerry Jones might not be here much longer. So you think he really like, all right, well, I want a 2027 second rounder, a 2026 first. No. He wants to win now. And then the one thing, which is where I think this is more media driven by Micah saying he wants a contract. I mean, he wants to be traded. Terry McLaurin did the same thing. That's the last resort for guys that don't have any leverage. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because neither one of them have any leverage.
Nope. I agree.
When like in Micah's case, if you're Jerry Jones, trade you for what? Because you're under contract. Jerry thinks he has a good team. He always does. He thinks he has a team that can compete for a Super Bowl now. I'm not saying he does. Jerry thinks he does. Why trade the best defensive player on your team for assets that don't move the needle today? Jerry knows his health. Jerry knows how old he is. If he can win the Super Bowl this year, he might sell. He might give it to his son and let him run it. But it's no way he's going to trade Micah Parsons for future draft picks when he does not know if his future could be next week. You know what I'm saying? He's not. This isn't a case like Adam Peters or something where you're a young owner with your whole rest of your career in front of you. Jared's 90 million years old. He needs to win now. Micah, you can request as many trades as you want. You're gonna show up week 1. You're gonna play. We all know that.
There's only one caveat here for Micah Parsons. I almost called him Michael Parsons, like Jerry did. But the only play for Micah Parsons here is that if what he alleges is true, I don't know if you saw his post today. Jerry Jones violated the CBA because Jerry Jones intentionally tried to negotiate with Micah Parsons without his agent present. That's a direct violation of the CBA. You cannot negotiate with a player if he has a certified agent. Because rumors go, I heard this from 2 different media outlets. Jerry Jones invited Micah Parsons to his home. They had like a cookout at the Jones family home. He invited Micah and a couple other players were there. It wasn't just Micah. Then he isolated Micah Parsons. They started speaking about the contract, trying to get it done. Micah Parsons has acknowledged that, yeah, we had a separate conversation. He asked me, hey, what would it take to get the deal done? I told him what I was looking for. And then at the end of that conversation, Micah Parsons told him, I'm going to have my agent call you to finalize these things. Jerry Jones took it as, no, we got a deal done. You're telling me you're willing to sign, so let's sign. We don't have to get your agent involved. Micah Parsons put up a long post about it today. If those things are true, that is a direct violation of the CBA. and Micah Parsons, I'm not saying that would allow him to get traded. I'm not saying that that's going to change anything with Jerry Jones. The biggest benefactor of all that is that then the NFLPA could fight and say, you guys cannot franchise tag him at the end of the season. You guys have violated the CBA, so therefore, as a penalty of that, they could say you can't franchise tag him. They would have to get the NFL to approve it, but if it's a direct violation of the CBA, that the Players Association could fight to say because it's a direct violation, Micah is willing to play this season. He won't put up a riff, but you cannot franchise tag him next season, which would then make him an unrestricted free agent. That's really his only play, because all other stuff you said is true. He's under contract. He's not going to sit out and not get paid this year. For people that don't realize, not all, but most of these athletes live check to check.
Yep. Yeah, he's not going to go without game checks for sure.
NFL players don't get paid during the offseason. They only collect checks during the NFL season.
They're like teachers.
Right. So Micah Parsons right now has not received a check from the Dallas Cowboys since January. I highly doubt he's going to go through September and October without trying to get a check.
No, especially when they're old to him.
Right. It's money that he was going to get. All he got to do is show up and play. Even if he doesn't play well, he just got to show up and play. He's going to get paid. So he's going to want that check to be in his locker every Monday or Tuesday, depending on how the Cowboys do things. He hasn't been paid, like I said, in about 8 months because the season ended for them in early January.
Yeah.
He's going to show up, and Jerry knows that, and that's why Jerry's playing hardball with him. The real play for Micah Parsons is to say this is a direct violation of the CBA. I want assurances that I will not be franchise tagged. So either the Cowboys got to negotiate with me right now in good faith and get a new contract underway, or allow me to be an outright restricted free agent because the owner of the Dallas Cowboys violated CBA agreement. That's his play. Now, does Micah Parsons really want to leave? We don't know if he really wants to leave because I get the impression that he loves the celebrity of being a Dallas Cowboy too. He live stream all the time. He loves the celebrity that comes with being a Dallas Cowboy. Would he be okay being an Arizona Cardinal or a Jacksonville Jaguar? Probably not. He probably don't want to go to them cities. Right? Like you said, Jerry ain't trading you.
Yeah.
So if you look at the landscape of things, on a fantasy side of things, yeah, people might say, oh, the Eagles will go get him. Eagles can't get him. Eagles ain't got the money to get him.
And this ain't the first or the last contract dispute that Jerry Jones has dealt with.
No.
Tell me one marquee star that Jerry Jones has traded in their prime.
He doesn't.
None.
The
He didn't do that.
only guy they had, and he wasn't he was not a marquee star. He was a very good player. The only guy they ever let walk away in these situations.
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray. Yep.
And what did he do?
He
When as soon as he left.
He flopped. But Jerry.
That's why. So that's even more so why Jerry's like, nah, I'm good.
Jerry. This is all intentional. I don't believe that Jerry Jones is concerned with winning more so than he cares about the publicity that the Dallas Cowboys get.
They're looking good. Yeah.
He did this with Dak Prescott. He did it with CD Lamb. They did it, like you said, DeMarco Murray. We can go even further back. I had forgot about this instance, Will. They did the same shit to Emmitt Smith. When Emmitt sat out for 2 games during the contract negotiation, and then they had to get him a new deal to get him back in uniform by week 3. So,
I think they might have had some issue with Murray and Barber too.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure every marquee guy that they have had that was up for contract had to go through the same thing. And Jerry.
But what's crazy, you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it like, all right, this is how Jerry Jones does business. He's 10 toes down, and that's when he does business. And you can look at it like it's been 30 years since you won a damn thing because you've been doing business the same way.
And that's the way I look at it. That's why I say Jerry Jones, I don't think he has any cares for trying to put a Super Bowl contender together. Because if that was really the case, why wouldn't you have given Micah the contract last year?
Yeah, when it was cheaper and it was better suited for the team. Yep.
You could have signed him last year before Max Crosby got his new deal and reset the market. You could have signed Micah early and say, yo, we're going to get that out the way because we know we want to keep you anyway. Let's just get
Crosby and Watt.
Yeah. Let's just get you signed, move on, and then in 2 years, the deal looks like a steal. Just like, remember when Mahomes signed his deal, everybody thought, oh, man, that's a crazy amount. And
was it like 10 years, $500 million?
Yeah, 10 years, $500 million. By the second and third year, now it looks like a discount.
Yeah, for sure.
When you look at what other guys are getting. So Jerry is more concerned with the headlines. He's more concerned with what are people saying about us. And I have forgot this part when all this started too. They're about to drop a documentary on Netflix. I think that comes out this upcoming week about the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I saw that was coming out. I won't be watching it.
No, I won't be either. I won't either.
I heard all about it. Yeah, I won't be
I won't
tuning
watch
in.
it.
That's what I heard
Listen,
about.
shout out to supporters. Y'all gonna have to keep us up to date on what the documentary looks like.
Yeah, tell us about it because I'm not watching that shit.
Nah,
I don't need to know about how a loser team loses for 30 years.
I have no interest in a documentary about the Dallas Cowboys.
None.
Let's keep it football right here. NFC quarterback under most pressure to reach a Super Bowl
this year.
Yeah, shout out to
Should I have to go through the whole NFC? Most pressure? Like this is like a get it done now and don't get it done situation, or expectations? Like what's the pressure?
I'm assuming it's get it done now. Like you've been in the league long enough. You got to take the next step. The only quarterback that really fits that mold would have to be Dak.
Dak. Yeah, that's Dak. We keeping the Cowboy right now. It's Dak Prescott for sure.
Because Jordan Love is young. J.J. McCarthy's is a first-year starter, so ain't no pressure on him. Kyler Murray's still young. Kyler Murray's only like 27. Stafford already won a Super Bowl, so ain't no pressure on him.
Nope.
Brock Purdy's reached the Super Bowl, so I don't think there's pressure. And plus, they kind of
and it's irrelevant. No.
Yeah, so it ain't on him. Jalen Hurts already.
Jaden Daniels got the NFC Championship.
And Jaden Daniels only in year 2, so it ain't pressure on him.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts got a couple Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah.
I
would say
NFC?
It would have to either be Dak.
It's gotta be Dak.
Because then remember,
gotta be Dak.
You got to consider you're only talking about teams that could even be in the playoffs. Like we're not talking about Russell Wilson and the Giants. Ain't no pressure.
No.
Not even expected.
And you can't say Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
it's Dak.
Yeah, it's
because
Dak.
I was gonna say that was maybe Baker, but not really. Because I don't think it's that much expected from Baker. But Dak.
The Bucks are a playoff team, but nobody's looking at them as a Super Bowl team. And remember, Baker's got a couple playoff wins under his belt, so it's not like. Yeah. It's more Dak. Dak, I think, with his career in the playoffs, 2-6.
It's got to be Dak.
It's Dak. I think we came to an agreement there.
And they got and they probably won't even make the damn playoffs. I mean, if outside looking in, are they better than Philly or Washington today?
Well, they not better than.
But you gotta get out your division first before you talk about making the playoffs.
They not better than Philly. I don't think they're better than the Commanders. I think they just got more star power than the Commanders, but I don't think they're better than the Commanders.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you're gonna be third in your division potentially. You better win 10 games, and I don't see that. So I don't even think they're gonna even be in the picture.
They gotta be that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael Alexander. He said Shedeur Sanders is expected to start Friday night. That is Will Gordon's neck of the woods. Pause. Shedeur's getting a start. I don't think there's. I don't want.
It means nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it means nothing. No.
It means nothing, my man. It's Trey Lance started for the Chargers in our first game. It's week 1 of the preseason. Ain't nobody really checking for none. Now, do they want to see what he can do? Absolutely, they want to see what he can do. But starting week 1 of the preseason is really it's a non-story. Unless he goes out, they let him play a quarter and a half, 2 quarters. He goes 11 for 15, throws 3 touchdowns. Then there's going to be some noise. But of course, they're going to give him the starting nod because the fact that they gave him the starting nod kind of tells me maybe Flacco is super safe and they're not trying to risk him for week 1. Because y'all got to remember, Kevin Stefanski, their coach, he's not here to make Shedeur Sanders look good. He's here to win football games. He's been there a few years. Now he's on the bubble. He's trying to win. So Shedeur starting week 1 of the preseason means you're trying to preserve either you want to see what he's got a little bit, but you're more so trying to preserve who you really want to start. No team in the league is starting their week 1 starter in week 1 of preseason.
Yep.
So is it good that is it good that he's going to get some reps? Yeah. Is it good that he's going to get some eyeballs? Is that going to be the most watched game this Friday? Absolutely. But does that mean that they're putting him in position to start? Absolutely not.
The reason I don't think it means anything is, one, he doesn't have the support of the organization. You already heard the owner come out and kind of make it seem like he would be surprised if Shador is on the final 53-man roster. Stefanski, he's going with Joe Flacco.
Yep.
Flacco started from 2 years ago. Flacco knows the offense. Out of all the quarterbacks in that room, Flacco knows the offense the best. He's going with Joe Flacco. To Will's point, Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. He's trying to win football games. He is not trying to develop anybody.
Nope. That's not his job, especially a 5th-round quarterback.
Right.
It's not like they took Shador day 1 and day 2. He's a 5th rounder.
And that's
nobody.
That's why I didn't like that they took him in the 5th round, because there's no investment. There's no real investment there. They took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. Dylan Gabriel has his contract. So if you're the Browns, you're going to be more interested in developing Dylan Gabriel than Shador, who you could cut ties with. Shador, there's no roster bonus for him. There's no cap hit for him. You can cut ties, and again, he doesn't have the support of the organization. He hasn't had reps for the first team. So he could go out there Friday, shit the bed, and what's going to happen is people will criticize Shador, but they'll forget the fact that the dude ain't taking reps with the first team anyway.
Listen, if anything tells you that Shador is not the man, who had the most crowded quarterback room in the NFL? The Browns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what they did yesterday?
Add Tyler Huntley.
So tell me about their quarterback room.
That's why I put Michael's other comment up there.
It's like you got 5-6 guys in there already, and then you add another moribund quarterback that's never going to catch on anywhere. That tells me you really don't know what you really got nothing. The Browns going to Browns, lose forever.
When they drafted Shador, I spoke about this, right? When Deshaun is healthy, he's going to be the starter.
I forgot about Deshaun. That's what's crazy. Yo, that's what's crazy. I forgot about Deshaun.
When Deshaun gets healthy, he's the starter. There's too much money invested in Deshaun. Joe Flacco is the backup. He knows the offense the best. So you already have 2 quarterbacks on the roster. So
Dylan Gabriel was drafted way earlier.
So now, hold on. You sign Kenny Pickett in free agency. You draft Dylan Gabriel. Then you draft Shador. Those 3 guys, right, are basically fighting for that last spot. Yeah, for the 3rd spot, because no team is carrying more than 3 quarterbacks.
Nope. Especially like the Browns, you gotta carry extra running backs, linebackers. Right. So you gotta carry extra medical staff if you're the Browns.
You sign Kenny Pickett to be another veteran backup quarterback.
Trash. Yeah, garbage.
You draft Dylan Gabriel and then you draft Shador. Shador's the odd man out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I love Shador, but this is a terrible situation. He's gonna be the odd man out.
It's just the Browns being the Browns, man. Lose forever.
Who wants to know who impacts the team more, Micah Parsons or Terry McLaurin? This is a good question.
Micah, in my opinion, and I'm gonna say that because Micah Parsons is a top 5 player at his position in the league. Terry McLaurin is barely a top 5 player at his position in his division. And that sounds harsh. Hold up. Philly has 2 receivers better than him.
Oh, we went through this. Remember 2 weeks ago, we went down the list of receivers.
Like just for anybody that missed it, AJ Brown and what's the skinny kid?
Devontae,
both better than Terry McLaurin. New York, Malik Neighbors is better than Terry McLaurin.
Yes.
Dallas, CD, and my man that just came over from Pittsburgh is better than Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is a great guy. He's a homecoming date for your daughter. But do you want What are we trying to do? Are you trying to be home by midnight with a corsage, or are you trying to win a Super Bowl? Because if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, Terry McLaurin's the worst number one in that division, and he couldn't be. He could only be a number two on the Giants. I mean, if we being honest, football fans, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Is Terry McLaurin good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Terry McLaurin elite? No. You know what Terry McLaurin is? And people gonna be mad when I say this.
But they're about to get mad at.
You know the receiver. I forget it. This is how. Oh, Tyler. Okay, Terry McLaurin is Tyler Lockett with lipstick on. He's a blue collar, sustainable receiver that gets the job done. But on a team that has nothing else, he looks awesome. He's Tyler Lockett. Look at Tyler Lockett's numbers compared to Terry McLaurin's while he was in Seattle. While Tyler Lockett was supposed to be the man in Seattle because there was so many guys. You had the Doug Baldwins coming through that weren't really doing nothing. You had a young, my man that just got traded to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, a young one, but Tyler Lockett was steady Eddie. You know what I'm saying? He was a consistent, nice, safe receiver. That's what Terry McLaurin is. Washington fans put him on a pedestal because he's been the best out of what they've had.
Yeah,
he's Bradley Beal. Terry McLaurin is Bradley Beal for the Wizards.
I wouldn't call him Bradley Beal because I think he impacts winning more than Bradley Beal. But in terms of your analogy of like the best they've had during tough years, yeah, he was the best they had. But he's not elite. Terry McLaurin,
undersized. He's not a one.
Hold on, I'm gonna say this. Let me answer Pooh's question, and then we're gonna go into this whole thing because it's gonna lead me into my hot take. I told you I want to do one hot take tonight as well. Terry McLaurin, who impacts teams more, is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, you can make a debate that Micah Parsons is top 2, top 3 guy at his position. You can make a real debate that Micah Parsons is probably a top 5, top 10 defensive player in the whole league.
Yep, easily.
Terry McLaurin is not in that type of conversation, not just as a wide receiver, as offensive players. There is no offensive conversation you would ever have that would include Terry McLaurin as a top 10.
He might not be top 30.
Oh, he's not top 30.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
If you just did offensive players, if you just took quarterbacks out,
quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends.
If you did receivers, tight ends, and running backs, he's not.
He ain't in there. No.
And that's like I said, we're excluding quarterbacks, skill position guys, receivers, tight ends, running backs. Terry McLaurin is not top 30. But again, no. I'm not trying to shit on Terry McLaurin because he is a very good player. But let's call it what it is. He's trying to capitalize on a moment right now. He's 30 years old. He knows this is the last real contract. If he don't secure a bag now, you know who he becomes? He becomes Adam Thielen, who's playing for the Panthers. Just trying to he got to secure the bag right now. If not, he'll be playing down in Jacksonville or Tennessee next year, helping out a young quarterback because he doesn't have a home. But
just clocking game checks and not making playoffs.
Right. Game checks and having 55 and 60 cap seasons on a team headed nowhere.
Yep.
All right. This leads me to my hot take. And
okay.
You're going to like this hot take, but a lot of our friends and people, and shout out for the love of the game, are not. I think that the Commanders are going to miss the playoffs this year. I think there's a lot of hype around the Commanders because of what they did last year. I think a lot of people love Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels a lot.
What I'm trying to show you is it says Washington wins 9 games.
I think they take a massive.
I believe you.
They take a step back based on expectations because
and schedule.
Yes, what they did last year far exceeded anything anybody expected.
You went from the number 2 pick to the NFC Championship.
Yes. Now, last year, and other future episodes, we're going to talk about our picks in the division and who we expect to make the playoffs. I already been looking on FanDuel for some future picks. I told you, remember I gave you like an 8-leg future joint with
teams
not make the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So last year, the Commanders were projected, their over-under was 6.5 wins. They far exceeded that by winning 12. Vegas is normally never that far off on a win total.
Be right back. Be right back.
Go ahead. I'm gonna keep talking about you until you come back.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm gonna go solo screen here while I talk about this. Vegas had them projected at 6.5 wins last year. They won 12. How does that happen? Because they won a lot of one-score games, and they got the luck of the football bounces in most of those games. That's not to say they can't win close games again this year, but to go 8-2, even the elite teams don't go 8-2. And then when you look back at their schedule from last year, a weak schedule that they played, you look back at some of those one-score wins and how they impacted their total for the season. Again, they beat the Giants team in week 2. Giants had no kicker. They beat the Giants 21-18. The Giants had a chance to win the game, but the Giants had to go for it instead of kicking a field goal because they had no kicker. You got the week 8 game against the Bears when the Bears are beating them, and then they hit a Hail Mary at the end of the game to beat the Bears. You look back after their bye week last year, they were 4-0. They beat Philly when Jalen Hurts gets hurt. They were losing that game to Philly as well, 14-9 in the first quarter when Jalen Hurts gets hurt, right? They beat Atlanta in overtime. That's the Michael Penix game on a primetime game. They had to go 4-0 after their bye week, all one-score games, to be able to get to the 12 wins and make the playoffs. If they don't go 8-2 in one-score games, let's say if they just hypothetically go 5-5, if they're 500 in one-score games, then you're looking at a team that would have been 9-8 last year, similar to what Will's projection is in terms of wins. I think that's the type of team they are. Jaden Daniels is special. I think the Commanders have a great quarterback of the future. But the rest of the team, I'm not really that high on. The running game isn't that strong. The offensive line isn't that great. Terry, solid receiver. Debo's got to stay healthy. The defense is older. The secondary is still an issue for this team. I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year. And I'm going to bring Todd Jefferson's comment up here where he says, can Jaden Daniels carry the Commanders without McLaurin? He can. Jaden Daniels is a special, special guy, but this defense is not that good. And I don't think they have much room for error with this team because, again, they don't have the talent all across the board.
I'm glad I heard you bring up that defense. That defense is doo-doo.
Right. The defense is bad. The secondary is still bad. And like I was saying when you stepped away, Will, they went 8-2 in one-score games. You remember some of them games? The Hail Mary game against the Bears.
That changed the whole NFC dynamic, that one play.
They had the game against Philly when they down 14-0. Jalen Hurts get hurt in the first quarter, and then they end up beating Philly. It has to come into the game. They beat Atlanta on that Monday night game when Atlanta should have beat them, the Michael Penix game. They had like I said, they went 4-0 late in the season to get to the 12 wins. So the record looks great. Oh, we won 12 games. But again, you won 8 of those games in one-score games. If you just go 5-5, if you just go 500, you're a 9-8 team at best.
Yep.
So I agree with you when you say 9 wins, and that's when I say they're gonna miss the playoffs. I don't mean they're gonna have a losing season. They could go 9-8 and not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Bengals went 9-8 last year and didn't make the playoffs. So you could win 9 games. Jaden Daniels can have a good season, but the totality of that team, I don't think is very, very good. That's my hot take. They're gonna miss the playoffs this year.
I'm with you on that. And Philly ain't going nowhere.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is getting better. What did Washington do to improve the defense?
Nothing.
Anything? No? Nothing. Oh, they added Von Miller. Really?
Von Miller's been past his prime for 5 years now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That was their move. That's what you do to improve the offense, is to add a situational pass rusher that's lost a step.
Yeah, I mean, Von Miller was past his prime 5 years ago. First of all, the move that the Commanders make about signing Von Miller, that's the same move that the Bills did 3 years ago when they signed Von Miller, when they thought he was going to be the missing their defense.
But he had a couple more steps when the Bills did it, right, which is crazy.
And then he had an Achilles injury his first year with Buffalo. So you're taking a guy who's in his mid-30s, who's had an injury history, and hasn't looked like a Pro Bowl caliber defensive end. When's the last time he looked like a Pro Bowl caliber defense? When he won with the Rams 5 years ago? Yeah,
that's all I'm about to say. When he was out west, ever since then, he's just been a guy. that signing has gone so under the radar that the Commander signed Von Miller. Can you imagine if Daniel Snyder signed Von Miller? The outrage
Right now,
because of his rep of signing old, washed up players. But Adam Peters apparently can't do any wrong because he's GM extraordinaire by that fan base. It's delusional. Have y'all looked at this? Have y'all watched the 76ers? Like, y'all act like he's this sports guru, roster guru. Really? Y'all do know this is trust the process. Extended. Y'all do know that, right? I'm just wanting to make sure the Washington fans know because they're so not used to winning games that when you win a few games, now you think you're going to the Super Bowl.
It's the honeymoon phase. Will they're excited? Listen. I can honestly say this. I remember when the Knicks were bad for a very long time, and we got Tom Thibodeau, and we made the playoffs that year, and Trae Young completely shit on us. And you know that whole year when we looked like we're gonna make the playoff, I'm sitting there supporting guys, you know, that I know ain't even good NBA players, but we had gone so long without having good NBA basketball that I'm sitting there hyping up the fact that Reggie Bullock is shooting threes for us.
Reggie Bullock.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there trying to justify some of the guys that we playing in these series. Like I remember at that time, I was really like RJ Barrett is like a good young talent. This is what we had.
Dude, I'm saying, like you talking to a Wizards fan. Like, what do you think? You know how many bums I'm hyped up? Penny obvious.
That's what I'm saying. When you watch so many bad teams and you get one decent team, you forget, like, bro, this ain't it. That's why I say that's the other thing with the Commanders. I just think there's a lot of hype around the team that as a team is not that good. The quarterback
the hype is that the fan base is so thirsty for a winner.
Right.
So when they get one little drop, when they get one little drop, they're like, oh, our thirst has been quenched. Let's, no, it ain't that. It's not consistent. It needs to be consistent. It's like as soon as they get one little taste of success, they think that they made it. It's not that. It needs to be sustained. It needs to be consistent. And you need your front offices to show an ability to be professionals. And that has not been taking place in Washington across the board.
I agree. And that's why I say that the fan base is excited. They got a great young quarterback. I'm not disputing that. But in this league, if that's all you got, you just gonna have
that ain't enough.
That ain't enough.
Nope.
That ain't, and like
that ain't enough.
We're talking even with as well as the team played last year and as well as Jaden Daniels played last year, y'all wasn't even on the level of the Eagles.
Look, think the fans will act like they brand new, but think if Daniel Snyder had a franchise quarterback, which he did, which everybody thought he did in 2012 with RG3, right? And a franchise offensive player, which they think they've got. But he said, nope, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying the franchise guy. I'm not paying the dude, the heart and soul of the team. But I will pay this 14-year veteran linebacker who is not going to probably impact winning. Let me sign Von Miller. Let me tell Terry to kick rocks. And I'm going to just ride the wave of this quarterback. If Daniel Snyder did that, pandemonium, it would be outrage. But Peters had one good season, which gave 30 years of losing. Like they had one good year, so everybody thinks it's roses and dandelions. Mm-hmm. If Daniel Snyder did the same exact thing that's going on right now, it would be riots in the streets. Oh, give Terry his money. Oh, you bring in Von Miller? He washed up. Oh, but the Washington fans sitting on their hands, like, oh, well, because we got Jaden. Jaden.
It's the honeymoon phase.
We got Jaden. If he don't make it right, his mama will.
You know, speaking of, who said Jaden Daniels' mother was at training camp with the short dress? Why does she be at training camp?
Look, that's right on time. That's right on time, man.
We go
wherever
we need to go, and the supporters go right with us. They know.
Cool. It's so funny. It's like now the players' mamas is my age. It's like, all right, boo, come on, what you really doing? It's like I know what they're doing. I've seen it before, and she keeps it classy, somewhat. But mom, you know what? I'm not gonna speak of that man's mom. Let her raise her grown ass millionaire son the way she wants to raise her grown ass millionaire son. Like he's not a grown ass man. But you know, do you? That's your household. But looks kind of strange. When Robert Griffin III's father was super involved in his career, it was a bad thing.
It seems to be a bad thing when a lot of the fathers are involved, though.
Like I'm not even trying to throw shade. That really just came to me because I remember when his father was trying to be involved. Super bad. Now, Jane Daniels' mother won't even let him holler at a girl. He can't buy a girl ice cream cone without her standing there licking it first. Pause. But that's okay.
I just want to know, right? If you, Jaden Daniels, you, his mom, or anybody in that circle, what image are you trying to portray? Your mom walking the sidelines around 60 grown men with a short dress on, and you hugging all the players.
Yeah, but you better not holler at none of these girls. I'm gonna holler at all your peers and contemporaries, but you better not holler at these girls. That's crazy.
She sat there and did an interview talking about how important it is to protect him from these fast women and like protect his image, right? But yet here you are on a sideline with 60 grown men who've been working out, sweating all day, and you thought it was a good idea to show up with a short dress. And I'm gonna hug some of the guys around here.
For real, the one arm dap too, like the one arm joint. She be like,
"What you doing?
Hey, boo."
Like, let's keep it a buck, right? If one of the players' wives was on the sideline dressed like that, hugging guys on the team,
it'd be on TV.
What are you doing?
Yep.
So your mom,
and that's the thing. She ain't old. It ain't like she big mama.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's still,
she ain't big mama out here.
The whole scenario, like, yo, who sat there and thought, yo, this was a good idea? First of all, you ain't supposed. What you on the sideline for?
Yeah.
This ain't the team banquet. This is fucking we working out.
Yeah, this training camp. This shorts and no pads. And you out here for what?
You walking the sidelines like you work for the organization. You don't work here. If you want to pop out, sit your ass in the stands where the fans are sitting.
Yeah.
Wait for me by the gate.
Like I don't want to disparage the system, but I don't like to look myself. Like I don't like to look blame my quarterback. So
I'm terrible. I think it's a terrible look because you can't sit there and talk about protecting his image and how important it is to get the right people around him. But then you on the sideline like this. And I'm not accusing her of doing anything, but just the fact, the visual is a terrible visual.
Yeah. On the sideline for the gram and card blocking every step of the way.
He checked her. I seen him at Juju's birthday party. They said she was there. First of all, I don't think he checked his mother because his mother has done interviews and she talks about Jaden as if he's 12 as opposed to 24.
Absolutely.
So I don't think he ever checked her. If he pulled up the Juju's birthday party with his mother, that might be the corniest shit ever.
Especially with that was the whole thing that kicked off like the major stipulation that she was hating.
When the mom
was like Juju was trying to clearly flirt with the dude, and she came and interceded herself in between them.
Yep.
Like, Juju ain't no like IG hoochie. Like she's out here, she got her own thing going on. If you want her, she could clearly relate to this dude being a high profile athlete. That's something that would be a major contributor to a successful relationship, being able to relate to each other in that way. If she ain't even good enough for your son, what we doing? Like, let that man make his own decisions, man. He is not at LSU no more. I mean, or Arizona State, wherever he went to school. He is not a teenager. He's a grown man. He's a face of a franchise. And you over here trying to, you still got the apron attached to him, but that's on him too. Like, that's on him too. You grown, bro. But hey, that ain't my quarterback. We'll see. We'll see how they go. But
Yeah.
he just comes across as soft to me with that whole dynamic. There's something about it I just don't like. I wouldn't be conducting myself that way. But T cell.
That's a fact. Let's run through. Let's check the questions we haven't gotten to yet. Let's go back up. Let's see what we got. If there's anything we have. We ran through a lot of these questions.
Yeah, we did.
We talked good.
Shout out to the supporters.
We got a couple gossipy questions in here.
Uh-oh.
Michael Alexander, Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion, what's your thoughts on their relationship? Shaq says it don't make it to training camp. Y'all think it's real or some summer action? It's to me.
I ain't even gonna speak on it. Like, that ain't none of my business, man. Like,
it ain't none of my business either. But I mean,
do I think they're gonna last? No, absolutely not.
I mean, Megan Thee Stallion's been in a couple high-profile relationships. What would make this any different?
Clay ain't ready for that.
Clay ain't serious about that shit.
Nah, he ain't ready. Nah. Clay living his best life right now, but he ain't ready for that in the long term.
What other ones we didn't get to? We got to the football stuff, guys. We talked there. Oh, who had a basketball question? Luka signs 3-year, $165 million extension with Lakers. Of course, someone, not saying names, didn't show up. He didn't show up. And thoughts on him working out and taking a picture with Clippers logo behind him. Go ahead, Will.
He did what?
LeBron, I think a day or two before.
Oh, LeBron was working out with
LeBron, he was working out. Yeah, for some reason, he was working out at the Clippers facility. For those that don't know, the Clippers and the Lakers do not share a building anymore.
Yeah, they got a new building set. Bron, man. This is just regular old. The spotlight's on somebody else. So, hey, come look at me. Tired of this dude. Retire, please. Please. As far as the Lakers extending Luka, of course, you got to do that. He's the future. I can't believe Bron did that. Well, yes, I can. Actually, Pooh, I'll give you a little, like, the word around here, Ohio, is, I mean, there's probably just more fan base than anything else, but it's a lot of chatter about LeBron coming back to the Cavaliers, which, you know, it'll make me no difference either way. But it's the chatter is heavy that they're trying to behind the scenes orchestrate a deal where he comes back to the Cavaliers that might send Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers. I'm just saying this. I mean, it's liquor store talk around here. You know what I'm saying? But that's where you get a lot of good information these days. So we'll see. But
that's where you get the breaking news from.
Yeah, hey, dude, off the Erky jerk, you be like, hey man, my mailman.
I heard from a guy.
My mailman knows LeBron's pool guy. That knows LeBron's, you know what I'm saying, car wash guy that knows the maid. The word is that he, you know what I'm saying, word around here is that he's setting up things to come back. I don't know if that's true or false. He might be trying to set up a swan song like last year or two here, because ain't no city gonna appreciate him more than Cleveland at this point in his career. And being the narcissist that he is, he's going to want to be showered with praise on his way out. So
you said it
best. Keep an eye on that.
Listen, there's not much left to say after that because you just said it perfectly. The narcissism of LeBron James that's the most important thing with LeBron. Where can I get the most attention and be the most beloved and still be treated like the king, and it's Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the Lakers already let you know they moved on from you. The Lakers are moving on from you. I think they moved on from you for a couple years now. It's been
And nobody else is checking for you at that dollar sign.
not only nobody's checking for you. I said this 2 seasons ago. Remember when that report came out when it was like, oh, LeBron doesn't want to be traded. And then it came out right after where the Lakers said, well, we gave him an opportunity to speak to anybody. And if he wanted to be traded, we would have helped him. What team speaks that way about their best player?
Nobody.
If you want to be traded, all right, we'll work with you. Like, nah, normally the teams put up a fight to not let you go. They've been trying to let you go for 2 years. When they traded for Luka this year, then LeBron had to immediately come out, well, I'm not requesting a trade. The Lakers was looking at it like, well, we wasn't even thinking about what the fuck we was going to do with you, Luka. We ain't worried about what you want to do.
I'm telling you, Cleveland would give him the attention and the shine that he wants. And, of course, they got a young core. So he could join and piggyback on, which has been his DNA his whole career. So I can see him going back to Cleveland in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
On that, I gotta check out, bro. I gotta get going.
Yeah, finish up and then I'm gonna wrap up here, bro. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll be back live next Wednesday.
Shout out to all the supporters, everybody that chimed in every week. You know we're gonna keep it going for y'all. And much love. Finally got to meet my dude. It's gonna keep going as it always has been, man. Yes, what it do, baby? We see y'all next week.
See you next week, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go through these last couple questions and we out of here. Ron says Stafford dealing with aggravated disc. I gotta see how it's gonna linger into the season. Obviously, a disc injury is not good. I like the Rams a lot this year. I expect them to win that division, but if he's slowed down in any way, it changes a lot in that division. I'm gonna get back to the Tina Hutchinson questions too, because I saw some of you guys wanted me to finish that up. Let's see. So Ron had posted it. I'm gonna go back to that question and the second part of the question specifically. I'm gonna post both sides because I answered the first part of it, and then I'm gonna go to the second. So that was the first part of the question. The second part you mentioned, Ron, and this is right around the time that Will was joining the live. But she didn't play enough to have a long career. Cheryl played in full 4 years, played on 4 USA teams. My pop said, she's a what if, like Grant Hill or Len Bias, and you say what to that? So your dad is correct. It is a what if, right? She was the number 1 ranked player coming out of high school. She has a great freshman year. She tears up the knee her sophomore year. That's the end of her college career. She goes over to Europe. So in terms of what if, absolutely. It is a great what if story. And it's no different than a what if story. And I don't want to say no different because she got to play in the college level, but it's similar to when Lenny Cook was the number 1 rated high school player until LeBron took the mantle from him. And then Lenny Cook became this great what if, because physically in terms of skills, Lenny Cook was on the same level as all the top high school guys. You go back and watch a documentary, which is a great documentary on Showtime. He was right there with LeBron, with Carmelo Anthony. He was playing with all the top guys. He was the number 1 rated player. His story obviously becomes the what if because he didn't do the right thing in the classroom. He chose not to go to college, tried to go into the draft, did not get drafted, got some workouts with teams, and then he hurt his knee as well, and his career was over at that point. In terms of NBA career was over. For Tina, she gets to play the 2 years, but really it's the one impactful season. The second year, the injuries ruin that, and then she leaves school. And I want to continue to elaborate on that because there's another part of this question where Cameron K said, I saw someone say, does Cheryl Miller got to be a part of her story? Yes and no. Cheryl does not have to be a part of her story. Tina Hutchinson's story is hers and her own story and her own journey. Where Cheryl comes in is, Cheryl by most people is regarded as the best woman player of that era, and some view Cheryl as one of the greatest of all time. And where it coincides with Tina is they both were coming into college at the same time. They had 2 historic battles against each other when San Diego State and USC played each other. And so they were linked from that aspect of 2 of the best young women basketball players in the country ascending at the same time. The paths go in different directions after that sophomore year, right? Tina's already talked about it. She had to figure out to redefine her game, and then she went to Europe. Cheryl plays the 4 years at USC, but obviously injuries robbed Cheryl of an opportunity of probably an even greater career. And possibly, could she have been healthy enough by the time the WNBA rolled around, which was by the time she got out of college, WNBA came around 7 years later. So would she have been healthy enough? So that's really where their stories go together. So Cheryl does not have to be a part of her story, but it is a part of the story that can't be ignored. Again, it's no different than any other top-ranked amateur athlete competing against another top-ranked amateur athlete, and they cross paths at certain points. Their paths are going to go different. It's very rare that both athletes continue to ascend and get to greatness level. Somebody's going to be great. Somebody may take a step back for whatever reason. In this case, Tina's injuries will force her to take a step back. And like I said earlier, I think a part that gets overlooked in Tina's story is that she's not asking for sympathy or, oh my God, it's so terrible that your career went that way. I think she's just looking for the proper acknowledgement and respect for what she brought to the game, what she contributed to women's basketball, and the fact that she held a record that was held for 40 years. 40 years. And yet the accomplishment was pretty much just highlighted by a small blip on ESPN. Whereas you look at other athletes who hold records, and when they're surpassed, and records are meant to be broken, but when they're surpassed, it's treated with the proper respect for the person who held the record. It's treated with the acknowledgement of, hey, what this person did was great and phenomenal for our game. And that's another thing that Tina has talked about. Tina said, this isn't the steal limelight from Juju. This isn't the steal limelight from Cheryl. And she's acknowledged she has no issue with Cheryl Miller. So I don't want you guys to think that the stories have to go together as if there's a beef. There is no beef. She's already said there is no beef. She would love to sit down and talk to Cheryl and speak to her, you know, from a place of not only respect, but how are you doing? You know, how's life treated you? You know, how was your journey, and how did you mentally come out of that journey, dealing with the things you had to deal with as well? So she's had great respect for Cheryl Miller. She's got great respect for Juju. And she said this is more about bridging the gap. You know, somebody who did something great and try to elevate the women's game and where it's at now. And we can't acknowledge the current history of the game without acknowledging or the current state of the game, I should say, without acknowledging the history of the game. Because if not for the sacrifices and what those women did at that time to get it to this point, again, there is no WNBA. There is no, you know, game where it's at now in terms of women in basketball, if not for what was done in the 80s and 90s to get to this point. So that's all Tina's saying. You got to bridge the gap, and you got to show the proper acknowledgement for what was done to then create the space for them now. Camera case, what's the age difference? I think Cheryl maybe 2 years when Tina came to college, right? No, they were both freshmen that year, or Cheryl might be a year older. But it was right around the same time. I could double check, but I believe Cheryl may be 1 year older. I don't think it's much of a difference though. It wasn't like she had I don't think she had like a great advantage over her in that way. Let me see. So I'm gonna look it up real quick as we're having this conversation. Yeah, Cheryl's a year older. Cheryl's 61, Tina 60. What you all think of her saying Linda Sharpe is behind all this? So I want to correct you there, Ron, because she didn't say Linda Sharpe was behind all of this. She gave us the scenario in regards to the 84 Olympic team. And her personal feelings were that her and Cheryl, there was a divide created because of their allegiance to their coach. Cheryl and Coach Sharpe, Tina and Coach Riggins. Obviously, Tina and Coach Riggins were the new kids on the block, new to the scene, because he was the first year head coach and she was the freshman coming into freshman phenom. Tina, you can go back and look, so I'm not trying to put any words in my mouth. From her perspective, was that she felt there was kind of this feeling amongst the powers that be that it could not work if her and Cheryl were both on the Olympic team. Tina didn't feel that way because Tina had no relationship with Cheryl. She didn't know Cheryl. And there was no way for Cheryl to know that because Cheryl, again, was a young player herself who had more notoriety and expected to be on the Olympic team as well. Tina's perspective on it was that the powers that be that were putting the team together felt like, hey, it's really not going to work with these two players on the team. And so Cheryl, there was more to lean towards building it around Cheryl. Not to say it was Cheryl or Tina to be on the team, not one or the other. Cheryl was going to be on the team. It was just a matter of, do we want Tina as one of the supporting cast players, or are we going to go in a different direction? And that's what they decided to do. But we can't ignore that the comments that were made by Linda Sharpe after Cheryl and Tina played the first time together, where Linda Sharpe criticized Tina Hutchinson's defense. She made the statement, there's no place in the game for a player like her, or something along that aspect. You can go back and look at the statement that was made. And so Linda Sharpe was the one who kind of took some jabs at Tina Hutchinson. Again, a freshman, and you're taking jabs at the young lady. That's where that divide started there. Tina's not blaming Linda Sharpe for being behind anything. She's just going based off the actual comments that were said and the energy that was surrounding that situation for 2 years. Because Pat Summitt is the 84 team. I'm trying to... I guess you're saying in regards to so Pat Summitt was the head coach. The committee, Linda Sharpe was on the committee that was putting the team together. As you know, Ron, we see it now with Team USA basketball. There's always a collection of head coaches and executives that put the team together, that host the workouts, and then kind of figure out what collection of players make the most sense. So even though Pat Summitt was the head coach, Linda Sharpe was part of the coaching staff that was putting the team together. That's how Linda Sharpe ties into the 84 Olympic team. Appreciate you guys tonight, though, man. The comments were crazy. Comment section, as always, on fire, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Sanchez Show. We're going to be live again next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. for another episode, Sanchez Show. And then the segment, Will Gordon and I, the opinionated ones, we're going to start getting into a little bit more football. So get ready, guys. We're going to have some fantasy talk, some predictions, some gambling aspects. Got to get Vern on the show again as well to talk some of the opening lines for opening weekend. Also, subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. We're back on Monday, 7 p.m. sharp. I'm not sure if we're going to have a guest this week. I'm waiting for Trip to officially announce if we're going to have a guest. However, make sure you lock in either way. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to have a lot to talk about this upcoming Monday. Make sure you subscribe to both podcasts. As always, if you don't already, make sure you follow me over on social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's Legends Who Games, completely spelled out. Shout out to Jefferson Jungle 101 on IG. I saw your comment, so I hope I answered any questions you had about Tina Hutchinson. If there's something I missed, like I said, the interview is up on YouTube right now. It's on my page and Real Fans Real Talk. You can go back, or you can just send me a question and I'll answer it that way as well. And also, guys, make sure you flood Trip Young's DM. His birthday is on Saturday, so happy birthday to my brother. I know we're going to speak on that day, but I also wanted to give you your flowers while we're on live right now. Happy birthday to my brother, man. Trip Young coming up on the 9th. For that being said, again, shout out to my brother, Will Gordon. Another great episode. We'll see you guys next week. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez. This is the Sanchez Show. We'll be back next week. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. We out of here.